Satsangatve Nisangatvam, Nisangatve Nirmohatvam, Nirmohatve Nischalatatvam, Nischalatatve Jivan Mukti. Satsanga leads to Nisanga. Satsanga means the company of people who believe in that Sat. Sat in the sense, the divine principle of truth, which is unchangeable, indestructible, eternal, it's all pervading. So those who believe in that truth, when they gather together to discuss, to deliberate, to talk about and to enjoy that truth, that is a satsanga, the company of such people who pursue the path of knowledge, whose goal is to realize that truth. So once you join the company of such people, what happened to you? Nisanga. Nisanga means you don't need anybody else's company once you realize the truth. Yesterday we heard about those 20 qualities. In that, one of the qualities is that you do not like Arati Jana Sansadi. They're not interested in crowds. They don't want to spend their time, their weekends, eating, making merry, going to crowded places. Crowded places does not mean temples. Temples also can be crowded. But that is a better place to go than go to a mall, which is crowded with worldly people. Also, it means that crowded minds, they don't like crowded minds. With too many thoughts, too many desires, too many aspirations, ambitions. They are not comfortable with that kind of a disposition of mind. So these people look for satsanga so that they can develop nisanga. Nisanga means they don't need anybody else to be happy. They are not dependent on somebody else to be happy. Because if you're dependent on somebody, today because of that vastu or vishaya or the sthana or purusha, whatever, person, place, thing, you may become happy. But tomorrow if that is not the way it is supposed to be as you wished it to be, then you will become unhappy. So don't give the key of your happiness to someone else. Keep it always with you. You can be happy without a reason like a child. You can be happy without a reason like a bird which sings on the tree. You can be happy without a reason like a jnani. So these people look for the company of themselves. Their aloneness, their solitude is their company. So nisangatve nirmohatvam. And when you stay like this, away from the distractions and all the other kinds of worldly things, then you develop nirmoha. Nirmoha means one, detachment, and two, no delusion, no misunderstanding about things. When you stay away from things, if you stay around things which are worldly or people who are worldly, naturally you will be distracted. Krishna says in second chapter, Jahayato Vishayan Punsaha Sangasteshu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kamaha Kamat Krodho Vijayate, and things like that. When you keep thinking about something, why you are thinking about it? Because you have seen it or you have heard about it. Drishta Anushravika Vishaya Vitashnasya Iti Vairagyam, that Patanjali says anything that you have seen or even remotely heard by somebody, heard somebody speaking about it, what happens to you? You develop some kind of a desire and attachment for it. What if I also have it? So it's not necessary that you see it with physical eyes. Even if you hear about it, you can develop a lot of attachment towards it. So we have to be so careful. That's why nisanga is important. Keep away from all such things which will distract you. Nirmoha will come. What is nirmoha? No delusion, no distractions, and detachment. And nirmohatve nischalatatvam. Once you have lost all the delusion, all the confusion in life is gone. Clarity has emerged. What happens to nischalatattva? That param tattva. Nischala means that which does not move. That principle of oneness, which is everywhere, that becomes revealed, that you come to know of. You don't have to put effort. It will reveal itself within you. We read about it. Some people do dhyana, some people do sankhya, some people do karma yoga, some people listen about it from other Shruti Parayana, and eventually they also cross over. That truth is revealed to them because of their consistent, persistent efforts. So Nischala Tattvam. And Nischala Tattva is Jivan Mukti. That understanding of the truth that we are all one in our divine nature is Mukti, because Mukti is nothing but Mohakshaya, Moksha. Moha is what? Delusion, attachment, desires that binds us to this kshetra, this body. This body is mine, I must look after it, I must look good, I must wear well, I must eat well, I must entertain the body with all the pleasures of the senses. This is all the idea people get when they think they are the body. When they are the mind, they want to stimulate their intellect, They want to, always be in the state of happiness and seek pleasures of the mind as well. So these things are automatically dropped away when you realize that Parama Tattva, that you are other than this. It's simple that suppose you have to work hard and somebody else is going to enjoy the results of it. Are you going to be interested in working hard for it? You're not. If you are going to cook something, you are not going to eat it. Your friend is going to eat it. Naturally, you're not interested in cooking when you're not going to get even a piece of it. So what happens? You don't want to do it. Likewise, the Atma is not going to enjoy these body and mind pleasures. But I am the Atma, then why should the body and mind be put to such trouble in gathering things, yoga kshema, and then protecting and saving those things? Anyway, Atma is beyond that, it doesn't rejoice in the worldly things. So that kind of an understanding will develop and you'll stop running behind unnecessary things. So they will be Atmanyeva Atmana Tushtaha. They will be satisfied within yourself with whatever is there. So this is the idea of satsanga. So satsanga is so important from many perspectives. This is a simple understanding, but even in this chapter which is coming up, we can improve ourselves only through satsanga. We might have been born in a certain way, we might have learned certain things right or wrong, but if you want to improve in your life, if you want to develop good qualities, why should we develop good qualities? We know yesterday, that's how we develop knowledge of the difference between Kshetra and Kshetrajna. Then we don't run behind body and mind, which is needed. It is like a vehicle, like a car and a driver. Body is the car, mind is the driver. That's all. You are the passenger. So you want to reach somewhere, you need a car and a driver. To that extent, body is to be used. To that extent, driver is necessary. But if the body is misbehaving, can cause accidents, or driver does not listen to you, takes you wherever it wants, that driver wants, then you are not going to be a happy passenger. So that is the idea, that when you know you are different from body and mind, and you are the boss actually, you should behave like a boss of your body and mind. Body and mind should not drag you anywhere. You should not chasing the desires of the body and the mind. Body and mind should be obeying you, an obedient servant to you. So that is why you have to work hard on attaining this knowledge, develop the good virtues. But all that happens only when you're in the company of the good people. So the last shloka Krishna says in the previous chapter, Kshetra Kshetrajna Yoha Eva Mantaram Jnana Chakshusha, the one who comes to know about the difference between the body, mind, that is the Kshetra, and the Kshetrajna, the consciousness which knows this body and mind. What happens to him? How he knows to know? Through Jnana Chakshuhu. Physical eyes, you cannot differentiate between where is Atma and where is the body. Like you can't see where is electricity and where is the bulb and where is the light. You can't differentiate the three things. Everything looks one. In the bulb, there is light and there is electricity. So you see only the bulb and you get attracted by the bulb, like various bodies and forms. But there is behind that, there is a truth. So one who comes to know with subtle understanding, with deeper knowledge, what happens to them? Bhuta prakriti moksham cha ye viduryanti te param. They get rid of this attachment of prakriti. Prakriti means all that which is manifested, all that you can know is prakriti. Your mind you can know, your emotions you can know, intelligence you can know, your body you can know, the pleasures of the body you can know, the pains of the body you can know. All this is prakriti. So you get rid of the attachment to it. Otherwise, whole life goes in this yogakshema business. First we run towards things that we like, then we run away from things we don't like, and all life is spent in just doing these two things. So we get rid of it, we get over it, whatever comes our way, after our best efforts, we accept it as God's prasadam and we are happy with it. So that santushtaha, yena kenachit, in Bhagavad Gita, 12th chapter, it said, he is happy in some way or the other. Why? Because he is satisfied in his own way. So such a person attains the highest, param. What is the highest? The realization that this Atma within, this Purusha within is nothing but Parameshwara. This Atma within is Paramatma. This electricity in the small bulb is the same electricity everywhere. I am so big, I am so great. So in Samaveda it will come, he will become so happy, he will say, ha, hu, ha, he will start singing. That is how Samaveda sings. The joy of realization. They burst into a song. So that is how you realize the truth and you become happy forever. You can happy on Monday, sad on Sunday, but we can be happy for all days, at all times, in all situations. That is the benefit of knowing the difference between your body, mind, that is Kshetra, and who you truly are, the knower of it. So with this we enter the 14th chapter, which is the difference between the three modes of nature, material modes, Gunatraya-Vibhaga. So guna, last time we heard that Prakriti is made of gunas. Remember it says Prakriti and Purusha come together. Prakriti Purusham Chaiva Vidhaya Anadi Ubhavapi Vikaransha Gunanshaiva Vidhi Prakriti Sambhavan. Prakriti and Purusha, the material cause, that is all our body, mind, and all those 24 things, plus the Purusha, the divine principle which exists in us, which knows everything, they are bound together, they come together. They have been there from the beginning together only, you can't separate them. But what happens, why you see that it's stuck together? Because of vikara, various modifications in the body. It appears as if Purusha is also getting modified. You were a boy, you were a baby, then you became a boy, then you became a man, then you'll become old man, and one day you'll be a dead man. But all through, you feel that you are the one who is going through these changes. But if you close your eyes and see, you don't feel the age for I. That I, when you say I am a boy, you have to say I am a boy who is 21-year-old. The boy is 21-year-old. The I is not 21-year-old. I feel the same. Many times our people don't realize their age only. Sometimes I tell them, please behave according to your age. I know you don't realize you have become old, but please behave. For world, they see the body, so they expect this behavior from you. So I doesn't become old in us. We feel we are the same. Why? Because this I, Purusha, is not affected by these changes, but it appears to be affected by the changes. So gunas chaiva, because of certain gunas, prakriti sambhavan. This prakriti and the changes in prakriti happens because of certain gunas, he says. These gunas we have heard before also. Where we heard prakriti kriyamanani gunani karmani sarvashah ahankara vivunatma kartahamiti manyate. This is all had come in the chapter 3 also. In a brief way, that when Krishna is telling Arjuna how to behave in the world, Arjuna complains. I want to do good things, but I am not able to do. I don't want to do bad things, I end up doing that. That Arjuna says, no? He says that time, something like that, Atakena prayuktoyam papam chariti purushaha. Why people commit sin? As if baladiva niyojita, as if they've been pushed to do that. They don't want to do it, they end up doing that. Most of our plight is that. Duryodhana's plight. Janami dharmam nachame vritti. Janami adharmam nachame nivrittihi. I know what is right, I am not able to follow it. I know what is wrong, I somehow end up doing that only. Despite my whatever efforts. And why it happens, he asks Krishna. So Krishna replies to that, Kama yesha krodha yesha rajoguna samudbhavaha. Your kama, krodha are the reason why you behave wrongly. Your desires for things which are not necessary. And krodha, when you don't get those desires fulfilled, you get angry. This is the reason why you go and do wrong things. And why these things happen to you, he says, rajoguna samudbhavaha. These are born out of a guna called rajoguna. So guna has been there, being mentioned many times in Bhagavad Gita even now. But for the first time, Krishna ji is going to elaborate the guna, and it's going to be very useful for all the students, staff, all the devotees, that how these gunas are the reason why we behave in a certain way. Despite sometimes we are good, sometimes we are bad, sometimes we want to be good but we can't be good. Why all these things happen? This is because of the gunas. So Purusha inside us, the divine principle inside us, seems like getting affected by these gunas. Like when the electricity passes through a red bulb, seems like electricity has become red. Electricity has not become red. It is only the appearance of redness because of the type of bulb we are using. So Prakriti is going through these changes. Suppose I put a green bulb, electricity does not become green. Appears the electricity is producing green light, so electricity is also green in color. That all particle universe, the world seems to be non-existent accordingly. It is not as solid as we think, but it is all held together by certain forces. Unified field theory is there, gravitational forces, nuclear forces, and electromagnetic forces. These hold the electrons, protons in these certain places. When all of them come together, elements form, then all the properties of the elements, then compounds form, then cells form, organisms form. We are all combination of all that. So if you break us all down in the last part of piece of us, I and the table and this carpet and this mic, we all are one, because we are all electrons and protons at the end. Isn't it that much? Everybody knows. Even small student of science also knows, except those primary school people. Most of them, we are made of atoms. So this is the idea. What binds these atoms? What makes the atoms behave differently? No, I am only atoms. We are all equal. Then why am I behaving differently than her, than him? Because of something else which makes these atoms behave differently. Those are called gunas in our scripture. They are known as gunas. There is something like tendencies or nature or modes. That is how in English they have been calling us. So what happens in Sri Bhagavan Uvacha in the 14th chapter? Param bhuya pravakshami jnananam jnanamuttamam yad gyatva munaya sarve param siddhi mutogataha. He's very good. Krishna always tells us, if you learn this chapter properly, this is what you are going to get. So he encourages us, motivates us to learn the chapter properly. Like teachers say, no, if you do this right, you are going to get a prize. Now for the prize sake, at least we start working towards it. So some motivation is required for us, especially after having gone through 13th chapter and all of them has gone over our head. We need some motivation to get into the 14th chapter. So 14th chapter is all about those people who follow this Krishna's knowledge, whatever Krishna is teaching. What kind of knowledge? Jnanam Uttama, it is the highest knowledge. Remember, Adhyatma Vidya Vidyanam, Krishna says. Among all the kind of education, I am Adhyatma Vidya, the education of the soul, the truth, the knowledge of the self. So if you know this knowledge, this is the best of the knowledge. Jnanam Uttama. All other knowledge changes with time. Scientists change their theories every now and then. At some point in time, they used to say Earth is flat. Till Galileo came and says, no, Earth is round. The moment Galileo says that, they put him in the jail, saying, it is blasphemous. The church was controlling the scientific community. So later it was proven again that Earth was round. So scientists keep changing the theory. Today we say this whole thing is existing like quantum theory I was talking to you about. But this is one knowledge which does not change. Your science subjects might undergo some changes. Computers will undergo changes. Your other things that you are learning may undergo changes. But this knowledge remains the same. So best is to invest in this knowledge. Because once you know this, you never forget this. It is never useless. It's always useful to you. You can be of any religion, race, nationality, gender, doesn't matter. This knowledge is equally valid and useful at all times. So he says, this is Jnanam Uttamam. Param Bhuya. Again I am repeating this knowledge to you. Why? Because we need a lot of repetitions to remember such important knowledge. By continuously reminding ourselves, revising, we are able to grasp it better. So he says, Yad Gyatva, by knowing which, Munayaha, those who are Munis. Munis means Manana Shilvan, those who are always do Mananam. Shravanam is over. After that, going back to your hostel or going back to your room and doing Mananam, chewing over it, you're trying to understand, repeat to yourself. Then you know whether you really know or not. If you have heard something and you can't explain it to the next fellow, forget about next fellow. You can't even explain it to yourself after going back to room. It means you have not learnt anything. So best way of finding out you have learnt or not is go back and repeat the whole thing to yourself. And if you are not able to get points somewhere, you are missing things, it means you have not heard it properly. You need a little more effort. So this is what Krishna is doing, putting some more effort to make Arjuna do some more contemplation. Those who do contemplation on this knowledge, what happens to them? Param Siddhi Matavagatam. They attain the highest of the perfection here only. Siddhim Itah. In this world itself they attain perfection. You don't have to go to some other loka to attain perfection. Here and now. See, if any Adhyatma does not teach you how to become God here and now, that scripture is useless. Something tells you you will get this then and there. When? After you die. When? After you become sannyasi. When? After you give up. Then that is not a good guru, nor that scripture is valid. In Adhyatma, the scripture, the guru should tell you, first and foremost thing, here and now it's possible. That is the first assurance and motivation the guru and the scripture should give every aspirant. And not make it complicated that you unless climb a hill and offer these many things to the god and do these many pradakshinas, no hope for you. If somebody speaks like this, just run away from that. Is Tyajadurjana Sansargam. Run away from there. Because those gurus and those scriptures are of no use. We should say, here and now this is possible, this has happened, this is proven. Some people have attained it here and now. So you also have a hope. You also have a hope to attain it. So that is the assurance Krishna is telling Arjuna. See Arjuna, I know all these concepts are quite heavy. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Jnanam, Geyam, Prakriti, Purusha. But here and now people have contemplated on this thought and have attained the truth and they have attained perfection. What is perfection? Doing the things as it should be done is perfection. Not another way. What should be done, the which way, it is perfection. So when a child draws a home with 4 lines and 1 tree, his drawing is perfect because that is what that child is supposed to be doing. I don't expect a Michelangelo painting out of that child. But if Michelangelo ends up drawing 4 lines and 1 tree, that is not the way it should be. Why? Because that person is capable of much more. So expectation from that person of perfection is much more. So perfection that way is relative and in that way it is absolute. It is relative because it depends on the person's situation, circumstances and whatever abilities. At the same time, it is absolute also. Why? In which way it is absolute? It is absolute when he does with complete involvement, 100% involvement without leaving even 1% to anything else. Then it is perfect. So such perfection people attain. Whatever they say, think, and do, everything becomes perfect. So this is the achievement you can have, Arjuna, if you are going to contemplate on the knowledge that I am going to tell you. And if you don't contemplate, of course, you will not attain the perfection. That is the idea. Only Muni, people with Mananam, have attained this knowledge. This is the greatness. So he is motivating Arjuna to get into this chapter. Second shloka it says, Idam jnanam upashritya mama sadharmya magataha. Those who take refuge in this knowledge means they become one with this knowledge. For them, this knowledge and this knowledge alone matters. Nothing else matters. Those who become like that, what happens to the mama sadharmya agataha? They become like me. It is said, yasya sadak kritarthasya lakshanani tasya sadakasya sadhanani. Whatever has the quality or the nature of the people of knowledge, same should become the practice of the people who are seeking that knowledge. You understood? If you want to become a good cricketer like Tendulkar, you have to see his strokes, you have to follow his patterns, you have to understand how his techniques are. Krishna says, you can become like me if you follow this knowledge properly. Why should you become like Krishna? Because Krishna is always happy, he is Ananda Swarupa. We all want to be happy. So that is what you attain. He is perfect in everything. He leads a life of complete contentment. So that kind of life you can lead, is telling. What else he says? Sargepi nopajayante pralayana vyathanti cha. You will never be born when the creation happens. You will never be disturbed, or you won't die when the creation disappears. The dissolution happens. Remember in one chapter we had studied that when Brahma wakes up, the creation starts. When Brahma goes to sleep, not Brahman, the Brahma. Then what happens? All the things all disappear. Like when we wake up, the world appears. When you were in deep sleep, did you know that you are alive? Did you know that your hostel is around? We completely absorbed in our true self that time. But we don't know it. That's why it is of no use. If you are aware that we were absorbed in the true self while we were in deep sleep, then it was Brahma Jnana. But because you are not aware, it is only Brahma still. It is not Brahma Jnana. So every time Brahma wakes up, whatever in so many millennia, in his own time, so many yuga, Chaturyuga, Mahayuga, all that happens, Manvantaras happen. After that, one Brahma wakes up. So the idea is that whenever such a time comes, you are not born again, you don't die again. It means what? It only means that your body may be born, but you don't feel you are born. Your body may die, you don't feel you are going to die. So this fear of death disappears. See, fear of death is the biggest fear in human mind. Because once death happens, what is there left to worry about? Death has already happened. Now you are only not around. What is to worry about? So everybody is afraid of death. Ahara, nidra, bhaya, maitunam cha. Samanya metat pashubid naranam. Food, security, then bhaya, fear. Fear from what? We should not be killed. That fear drives everybody, animals, insects, birds, beasts, humans. Which kind of humans? Agyani humans. Gyanis are not afraid. Electricity is not afraid. If bulb gets fused, electricity does not die. If new bulb comes there, electricity has no problem. No, I am not going to flow into this bulb. I want the same bulb back. No, whatever comes, it goes with it. So that is the way of Jnani. They are happy. So they, even though they are born in a body, they don't feel that they are a body. So therefore, birth and death do not affect such Jnanis. That is what Krishna is trying to say. This knowledge you have to attain, because once you know this knowledge, you will become like me, fearless and selfless and shameless, so that you can do things as you are supposed to do without being afraid of what people say, what people think, what will people comment. All these things don't matter. You do exactly what you are born to do. So that selflessness, fearlessness, and that what we call as shamelessness comes to you when you know this knowledge. What are you afraid of? You're afraid of nothing now. You can do anything you want. So this is the idea. Third shloka is a little complicated. Try to understand. Mama yonir mahad brahma tasmin garbham dadhamyaham sambhava sarva bhutanam tato bhavati bharata. Is a complicated. He says that how did all this creation come into existence? Just now he said creation comes into existence and dissolution happens in between all the drama. So how did the creation come into existence? If you go and ask, how did you come into existence as this body? You will say, I have a mother and a father. They gave me birth, so I am here. Without a mother and father, you can't be born. That is the niyama of this rule of the world. So you need to have a mother who is going to carry you in her womb and suffer through 9 months of all that you do to her, and then relieved at the end of 9 months. And you have to have a father. Both of them, if are present only, you can be born. We all know that. So in Prakriti also, this is the rule Same thing is the rule even in the Brahmanda. What is in Pindanda, as they say, the human body, the same rule applies to Brahmanda also, the great cosmic womb. Think of the whole universe as a big womb in which creation is happening. Worlds are forming, beings are forming, galaxies, nakshatras, stars, space, all the elements are created. Like a mother's womb it is. So that is why sometimes for God we also call her Jagan Mata. You are the mother of the whole world. Why we call it? Because we think of her as the somebody who has given birth to us. Then you will say, if Jagan Mata is there, Jagan Pita should be there. How can Mata alone be there? Yes, Jagat Pita is also there, Krishna is saying. But who is it? I am only Jagan Mata, I am only Jagat Pita, Krishna is declaring. In Brahmanda, in that Sukshma, in that ultimate power of Krishna, it is possible. He says, I only created the cosmic womb. It means all that which was required for the creation to come into existence. And I only ensured that that creation came into existence. Like a womb and the seed in the womb which creates the tree. Like earth is there, you sow a seed. Unless you sow a seed, even if the earth is existing with all the fertility, can a tree come out? No. So it needs the earth and it needs the seed. Like that, it needs a womb and it needs the seed for the womb from which the creation happens. So he says, I am only the mother I am only the one who created the womb of the mother. I am only the one who created the father too. Both together have created the entire universe. Slightly complicated, but children will understand as they start growing. The whole cosmos is made of energy and matter. This much we know, physics law. Energy can neither be destroyed nor be created, but it converts from one form to another. The indestructibility of energy is a proven scientific phenomenon. Only it changes forms. For example, heat energy, like electrical energy becomes light energy in this. Or electrical energy goes through a heater, it becomes heat energy. Or sound energy over here. So it changes forms. But it does not die, it only changes forms. So this energy keeps changing forms and becomes matter. And all matter at the end will turn into energy only. You burn the whole matter down, all the energy will be released and goes back to its own elements. So all world is nothing but the play of energy and matter. Think of matter as the womb, think of energy as the seed, think of matter as the mother, and think of energy as the father. Now you see how both of them go together all the time, and only in their interaction world is created. No matter is without energy. You may say, no, that rock is lying there, it does not have any energy. No, it has energy. Example, uranium is there. Nuclear power and all we talk about, right? We say energy is there. How the energy is there? When we do that fusion or fission, whichever be the case be, energy is released. In sun, what is happening? It is not having a human face, name or anything like that. What is happening? There is a reaction happening. All the time the atom is being split and all the time fusion, fission is going on, and because of its tremendous release of energy is happening. So matter and energy are interchangeable. Like that Purusha Prakriti. Purusha is that energy form, Prakriti is the matter form. This is how Krishna is explaining to Arjuna. Because he is talking about how creation came into existence. You know about the Big Bang theory. What does it say? One fine day, just one big bang happened and the whole universe came into existence. How did it happen? You should have some source. If something you want to create, it should come out of something. How can you create something out of nothing? So that nothing which scientists are saying there was nothing, we call it Brahman was there. How? As the energy, as the consciousness, he existed. Then how can that convert into matter? Because energy can always be converted into matter. That is how so how powerful Brahman should be to have created so much of matter that we have still not found the end of the universe. And once we go to the end of this universe, we find there are more universes and billions of universes. Now, where is the end to it? Who created this much matter, so much of gases, so many types of material, minerals and all kinds of planets and stars? Who had that much of power which converted into energy? And Krishna said what? I sustain this whole thing with one fraction of my power, he tells in. Or Vibhuti Yoga, he says, see, all these I sustain by just one fraction of my power. It means the whole universe came into existence from the energy of Brahman, which is a fraction of Brahman's energy. If it has whole energy, if you had blasted into a matter form, where or what should be the size of the universe? That is the question we must ask. So it is Brihat. That is why Brahma word is been derived from the word Brihat. Brihat means vast. How vast? No idea. It's no end, endless, beginningless. You cannot measure it. Immeasurable. That is how our rishis found out, which scientists are still struggling with. They only discover new galaxies, new universes and tell, no, we are just a tiny part of a Milky Way. And Milky Way itself is a part of some bigger galaxy. And then that is a bigger part of a bigger universe. There is no end to it. They're still trying and trying and trying. So the idea is that all energy which existed as Brahma suddenly burst into a matter like Prakriti. And this Prakriti and Brahma interacted like mother and father. They produced the entire creation, the stars, the planets, the galaxies, the atoms, the molecules, the organisms, single cell to the multiple, complex organisms like us, from all the Pancha Mahabhutas, all the elements, everything was created from them by the interaction of the two. So a chemistry student, physics student should understand it like this. Two atoms, one atom, one proton, hydrogen, two helium, like that. Helium breaks or becomes two hydrogens. So you know that each keeps changing. If two hydrogen and one oxygen come together, they suddenly change the form and become water, a liquid form from the gaseous state. So all this is happening. This is just the play of atoms and electrons and molecules. And certain rules that only when two combine, they'll become this. When two of this and one of that combine, they'll become that. H2O2 is peroxide. That is different from H2O water. So everything is having some kind of intelligence, and God has decided, or Brahman knows what he's doing. So Krishna is saying, from that Brahman which was simply there, two things came into existence. One, the energy of the Brahman and the matter. The energy part is the Purusha, the matter part is the Prakriti. This much if you understand, more than enough. Prakriti is like the mother, energy is like the father. When both of them interact, all the creations come into existence. And which all existence? Everything from Jada, Chetana, last time we told, no? Sthavar Jangama, what is moving, what is not moving, everything is me only, everything has been created by me. So one beautiful shloka we always chant, from the shloka goes, Kalidasa is a big dumbo. He did not know how to read or write. I couldn't even pronounce things properly. He used to, keep on stammering. That Kalidasa goes and prays to Mother Kali. That's how his name became Kalidasa. And he says, what he says, Vagarthiva sampraktau, Vagartha pratipattaye, Jagatah pitarau vande Parvati Parmeshwarau. How word and meaning go together. Speech, vag and artha. The meaning of it always go together. Can a word be there without a meaning for it? Can't be there. Can a meaning be created without a word around it? No, it cannot be. So how word and meaning go together, likewise Jagata Pitarau, Parvati Parmeshwara. The parents of this universe are Parvati and Parmeshwara, who are always together. These Parvati Parmeshwara are not the Shiva and Parvati like the Shankara and Parvati. This is the ultimate Prakriti and Purusha. That is the concept. So they always go together. Every matter has energy in it. All energy has latent potential to become matter. So this is the womb that I have created. This is the seed that I have sown, from which the whole creation has come into existence. Aitreya Upanishad gives very detailed description of how the creation has happened, which we can read another time, and those who are interested can go and read for themselves. How this Brahman was there, then he thought, I alone am, there is nobody knowing who I am. Then he thinks, and it's called Ishvara now. And Ishvara means Ishwari should also be there. The second part of it, the complementing part. So that's how Maya is created. This Maya is Prakriti, Ishvara is the Purusha, which is the what you call as father and mother. From there, Hiranyagarbha is found, all the elements come into picture. From Hiranyagarbha comes Virata. From Virata, all the organs and everything is created. Then comes the Jiva, the human form. Then comes Purusha. That means the same divine principle enters this human body and stays in the heart. So this is the principle that I have taught in Aitreya Upanishad. Again, this is a whole story of creation which the Aitreya Upanishad tells in a few shlokas. How did these rishis come to know all these things without studying science? Something must be true. Something they must be having some power. We will come to know about that power also in coming shlokas. So now the fourth shloka says, Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahadyo niraham bija pradam pita. He says that all that you see, all forms which are manifested, an ant, insect, everybody, what happens to them? All of them have happened because of the Prakriti. Prakriti has created all of them. How? Because Prakriti got the power to create from Purusha. Both of them together have created. Tasam Brahma, all that is Brahman only. Mahat Yonihi, the great cosmic womb of Brahman, in which all this has been created. Bija Pradah Pita, and Pita means I as Brahman, the positive energy and the negative energy in the electricity. Likewise, I as a father and this whole cosmic Prakriti as the mother, together we have created the entire thing. So tomorrow you can easily say that ant is also your brother, isn't it? That bird is also your sister. That is how brothers and sister moon, Saint Francis of Assisi used to call like that. Here, for everybody, he'll call brother and sister. Even the birds which will come, he will call them sisters or brothers. Because he felt that we are all born of the same thing. That is the idea. Fraternity of man and God, fatherhood of God. This is the idea, that we are all born of one. We may look different. We may say, no, I am born of such and such person who was born to such and such person, my father, grandfather, lineage, all. But at the end, if you go tracing all the way back to the origins of the creation, you will know it is on one energy and one source that all of us are born. That's why we all, whatever we are born of, we should have something of it in us, right? So we also have that little bit of that truth, that original material or energy in us. That is called Purusha or Jiva or Atma. So we have that in us. That is how we should be very, very confident about it. Never get worried that it doesn't exist. So this is the idea. And even if otherwise, I said, Yatha Pindande Tatha Brahmande. What is happening inside your body, same thing is happening in the whole of the universe. Example, if the whole of the universe you consider as a being or a womb in which everything has been created and exists. See in your own body, how many things exist? Are other creatures also existing in you or not? Depends on, if you have cleaned your mouth well, less bacteria, otherwise more bacteria. If your gut is clean, less bacteria, more bacteria. Bacteria, viruses, name it, all kinds of things exist within you also. Who created them? Your own cells have created, your own food has created them, your own body has created. So we are also all the time creating universes and destroying them. Look at the cells that are born every day. Every week, it seems in every 7 days, almost all the cells of our body get replaced because they are regenerated. That is only till you become old. After old, degeneration starts. They are not able to replace themselves. That is why body decays. As young children, cells are multiplying and generating. As middle age, cells are able to regenerate. After the middle age, cells start degenerating. Srishti, Sthiti, Laya. So that is how old age you start, skin starts sagging, bones start becoming brittle because new cells are not forming. The same old cells are tired now. So they are getting decayed. They are wear and tear. So this is how it's happening within us. Everything outside is also within us. So that is why we are just the reflection, one prototype or one blueprint of the entire universe and cosmos is what our rishis believed. So this is the way creation has come into existence, is what Krishna is telling this thing. Where is he heading? He says that in this Prakriti, what was going on? Purusha is pure. Purusha is like the electricity. It doesn't get affected by anything. But when it interacts with Prakriti, new things are formed. What are the new things formed? When electricity interacts with the fan, wind is produced. When electricity interacts with the mic, sound is produced. When electricity interacts with the light is produced, like bulb light is produced. So electricity is not changing, but the forms are changing because of what it is interacting with. That interaction is the whole process of creation. So now what Krishna says is that this Prakriti creates different things. How does Prakriti create different things? Like some people are good, some people are bad, some people are okay. How do different people get created because of Prakriti? Because Prakriti has 3 ingredients with which it creates everything. All of us are combination of these 3 ingredients. These are the 3 gunas. 3 guna. What are the 3 gunas? He says, Sattvam Rajas Tamam iti gunaha Prakriti Sambhavaha nimagnanti mahabaho dehi dehinam avyayam. 3 gunas, Raja, Sattva and Tamah. Rajas Bhava, Sattva Bhava and Tamas Bhava. These are the 3 things which will always be present in Prakriti, and they combine with each other in different proportions and combinations, like electrons, protons and neutrons are present. Now depending on the neutron, number of neutrons, number of protons, number of electrons, the atom is different. Its atomic weight, atomic number is different. Then when these 2 atoms interact with each other, the molecule that is formed is different. So everything is made of the same basic material. And what is the basic material of Prakriti? It says gunaha. What are the gunaha? Rajas guna, Rajo guna, Tamo guna and Sattva guna. These are the 3 things. Now what is Sattva guna? Sattva guna is pure qualities, good qualities, nice qualities, purity, goodness. That is Sattva guna. We all are good. We have some goodness in us. We know that goodness is because of that guna of Prakriti which we have brought with us, which is called Sattva guna. Then at times we are not so pure. Sometimes we are selfish and we want to do things for ourselves. This kind of habit that we develop, this ability or this tendency is called Rajoguna. It's about action. We act. Why? Largely for our own selfish sake. So Rajoguna is driven by action and kind of selfish passion. Then third is Tamoguna. Tamoguna is about inertia. We sometimes feel lazy. We don't want to do anything on that day. Whoever tells whatever, we don't feel like moving. We don't feel like thinking. We don't feel like acting at all. We want to sleep. We want to rest. That feeling, that tendency, it's called Tamoguna. Now you can easily see, don't look around yourself, look within yourself and see how much of tamo, rajo and sattva guna you people have. Why you behave differently. On one day you're a very good boy, good girl. Everything you're very obedient, you're attending bhajans, you're attending satsang, you're enjoying the satsang, your mind is so peaceful and calm. Certain days you feel like that. Some other days, I have no time for satsang, I have to study, I have to just play, I have to win this medal, I have to get marks. So the mind is so busy, it wants to do something or the other, it's continuously engaged in activity. Most of it is selfish activity only. So even if it's selfless activity, still it is because of Rajoguna. All activity is because of Rajoguna. All purity and calmness is because of Sattva-guna. And Tamoguna is, all laziness is because of Tamoguna. Somberitana. Those who are very lazy, they're suffused with Tamoguna. Now the best part is, all three gunas are equally powerful. You can't say this is less powerful, that is more powerful. They can fight with each other and negate each other's effect. In the purest state of Prakriti, Sattva, Raja and Tamoguna were in perfect balance. 1/3 Sattva, 1/3 Raja, 1/3 Tamoguna. Therefore, there was no activity happening. It was absolute zero state. The moment the balance got disturbed, because the Purusha came and said, let us create some good children. Rajoguna should be less, Sattva-guna should be more, Tamoguna should be the least. So combination, 50% Sattva-guna, 20 or 30% Rajoguna and 20% Tamoguna. Let us put that and create one boy, one girl. Like this, everybody's combination started changing over a period of time. And then when we started meeting more people, good people when we met, we developed more good qualities. Our Sattva-guna component increased. From 50 it became 75%. And Tamoguna component decreased. From 20 it became 10% or 5%. Like that we started improving in life. But if we went and met people who are lazier than us, then what happened? Tamoguna became 60, 70, 80% and all other gunas started becoming less. So it's a dance of gunas is how it's been defined. It's a play of gunas, the whole Prakriti. And within us, every moment, every day also these gunas are changing. But one guna will be definitely dominant in everybody, despite night, day, Monday, Sunday, it doesn't matter. One guna will definitely be dominant. And that guna defines your character and personality. In our students, our staff, our devotees, most of the time, Sattva guna only is dominant. But at different proportions. Somebody is 100% Sattva guna, some people 95%, some people 75%. So increase these sattvic qualities in you. That is why all these meditations, satsangs, pujas, archanas, good company, good thoughts, good books, paravidya, these to help you increase the sattva guna. Now you understand the logic of why we do paravidya? Good qualities will develop. You will know eventually in these slokas why you should develop good qualities also. What is the result of it? So he says these three gunas are the nature of Prakriti and they are the one who bind the Purusha, the Dehi, the indweller to this body. Why we don't want to die? Why we don't want to live? Why do we don't want to give up certain habits? Because these gunas are like tying us down to themselves. Like we are chained by these gunas. How a big elephant is there. Have you seen that? It will be tied with a small iron chain. That chain, that elephant can break in a minute if it wants to. But it doesn't break. Somehow it stands there like, as if it is bound by that chain. Why? Because when it was small, they tied with that chain. That time the chain was very strong for the elephant. The elephant tried everything, the baby calf elephant. It couldn't break. So now it has grown up, but it has learned this lesson that I can't break this. This chain is very, very strong and powerful. But only Mahavut knows this elephant is a fool. It didn't understand that this chain is too small to bind actually. It can break it in no moment. But now elephant has got used to it. Now what it appears, elephant has got bound to the peg with a chain, which it could have easily broken. Like that, Purusha seems to have been bound to Prakriti through this chain of gunas, which it can easily break. But it is not breaking because it thinks it can't break. This is the wrong calculation, this is the wrong understanding, this is ignorance. Let me tell you a small story, make it lighter. It so happened that the washerman had a donkey. So he collected all the clothes of the village and he used to put it on the donkey's back and take it to the river, wash all the clothes, dry everything, fold it back, iron, whatever, and put it back, the bundle, on donkey's back and come back and distribute the clothes back to the owners. This was his daily schedule. So whenever he will take the clothes, he will come and tie the donkey with a peg, to the peg near the river or to a stone. And then he'll finish washing, drying everything. And in the evening, he'll take all the clothes back with the donkey. One day it so happened that he brought the donkey with the clothes, dirty clothes, to wash in the river. But after he brought this clothes over there, he forgot that he didn't bring the rope with which he has to tie the donkey. Now he thought, if I don't bring the rope and don't tie the donkey near the river, donkey may run away. If it runs away, this is my only property. Then tomorrow onwards, where will I get it? How do I bring the clothes? So he started worrying. So as he was sitting there and worrying by the riverside, a Jnani passed by, and a sadhu or sannyasi. So he saw this person in pain. So out of compassion, he came and asked this washerman, what is the problem? Why are you worried? He said, you see, my donkey is always tied with a rope to this particular stone. But today I forgot to bring the rope. I'm afraid the donkey will run away. So he said, every day you do this, right? He said, yes, every day I do that. He said, just do one thing. Just act as if you're tying the rope around the donkey and tying it to the stone. He said, but there is no rope. Don't worry, just act that you are tying. And he did an acting, putting the rope just the way he would do usually, tie it into a knot and take that all the way, tie it to the stone. And the donkey thought it has been tied and it was standing there. Whole day he was standing, the donkey was standing there only, and fellow washed his clothes, dried his clothes, ironed, packed everything and put it back under the donkey's back. And now he told donkey, let's go back to the village. But donkey is not moving from his place. So again he's pushing, pulling, beating, but donkey is not ready to move. He says, what's wrong with this donkey? Again he started lamenting, what to do now? I'm getting late. The same sage was passing by in the evening to the village. And he saw this man again worried. So he came to the man and asked, what are you worried about? He said, you know what has happened? Morning you told me I did something, but the donkey is not moving at all. He said, oh, did you untie the donkey? He said, what do you mean by untying? I never tied the donkey in the first place. Oh, that you know, the donkey does not know. A donkey thinks that it has been tied because in the morning you did that acting of tying. Now you do the acting of untying the donkey. Then he did the acting of untying the rope and the donkey started moving back. That's how Purusha is bound to Prakriti with gunas, which he can easily transcend. Actually, these gunas are no big deal for the Purusha. It doesn't even exist because it is Maya, actually called Ya, Ma, Sa, Maya. That is the definition. That which does not exist is Maya. The truth is that the rope did not exist at all, but the donkey thought it existed and it just got tied. Until the washerman acted that he has released the donkey from this rope, donkey was not willing to move. Our situation bound in the body is something like that. We are not bound to this body. These gunas are also actually Maya only. But we think we are bound and then we struggle to untie ourselves. That is the highest truth of Vedanta. We were never bound, we are ever free. Nitya Shuddha Mukta Nirmala Swarupinam. I am always free, I am always pure, untainted. I was never bound. Unfortunately, I think I am bound like the donkey which thinks it is bound. And even if I am bound, let us say like the elephant calf with a chain, I have much more power than the chain to break it and walk away. I don't have to live a life of bondage. This is the call of the Vedanta. This is what Krishna is teaching him. So I hope this much you have understood, that all these gunas keep playing and because of that we behave differently at different times. The net of all the gunas, if they are in balance, they will become 0. Plus 1 and minus 1 is equal to 0. Which one is 0? Plus 1 is 0 or minus 1 is 0? Both become 0. Like that, sattva, rajo, guna, when we come together, they become 0 if they are in balanced proportion. If they are not in balanced proportion, then each will have influence over the other. They'll keep wrestling and fighting with each other to take over the control and command of the body and the mind. They keep fighting. So this is what is happening inside you. Now what are the qualities of each of these gunas? What is the result of these qualities? What is the effect on our daily life because of these qualities is something that is coming in next slokas.